All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Alchemy Podcast. Really looking forward to my conversation today with Kaysen Stevens, top rep at Kid Home last year. Main reason I want to bring you on, brother, I love your energy. You're a newer member of Alchemy, and the sales training that you've been providing on Instagram has been hot. And
Thanks, yeah.
Kaysen, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. I'm freaking stoked to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have a conversation with you. So was thinking about you on our way over here, and kind of the first things that kind of popped in my mind was, obviously you're a top rep, top performer, top 1%. But another thing that's really cool, and I want us to dive into this first, is you work with your brother. You guys are super tight.
Yeah.
And you work with your mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So your mom's on the team too.
Yep.
Right? So talk to me about how that all came to be.
My brother, obviously, he was the first one to work there. I was in high school when he started doing solar door-to-door, and he was just crushing it. So I went on a couple blitzes in high school and loved it. So, weekend of graduation, flew out there. We've been working together ever since. It's been 2.5 years. And I think it was earlier this year, my mom was she was kind of in limbo with what she was doing for work. And she was like, let me come out. And I'm like, my mom around the sales bros, I don't know if that's the best idea. They're two different lives pretty much. And so for a little bit I was a little iffy, but Tice was like, no, let's do it. So we did it. She ended up crushing it. She's one of the number one reps since the summer ended. She wasn't there for the summer, and she's doing great. She's obviously our social media videos are doing good. So one of the best decisions we've made, but ever since then it's been so much fun working together. Yeah, I love it. So, because I think about it in my head, I think about my summer sales season with my freaking bros when we're 20 years old, and it's a little reckless. Can be a little intense, and it's the last place I would want to bring my mom into, right? Because my mom's very Mormon, very, she's a saint. Yeah. And if she saw some of the stuff we did in the summer sales, she'd be repulsed, right? So was it awkward at first? What was it like? Were you scared to bring her around the guys, or how did you guys integrate her? It was, at first I was, and it was kind of a surprise that she was coming out. It's okay, she's coming out. At first it was kind of walking on eggshells, testing the waters, I'd cuss in a meeting, and I'd look over at her, and at first she was getting used to everything, but she honestly fits in so well. She's just a ball of energy. She's super reckless too. Obviously there's some things that that don't click very well with her. Yeah. Being a mom and a woman, but I think she fits in super well, and everyone loves her energy, and she's probably one of the crazier people on the team.
She gets rowdy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. Do you think it softened the energy of the group? Did she kind of bring in a piece that the guys like?
Yeah, she's brought in tons of women on the team, first of all, so that's completely changed the dynamic. But yeah, people get outsold by my mom, and they're they gotta lock in.
So she throws down.
Oh yeah.
So she's seeing success.
Yeah. Yeah. She came out for 2 days on this last blitz, and I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 deals, and then helped another rep get a deal, and then just bounced. And I'm
how cool is that?
It's so cool. It's really cool because we've never been financially well off as a family. Yeah. And to see her finally click, find something that she's good at, and have money and do the thing she loves, it's so cool.
Yeah. So talk to us a little about that. So what was it like growing up? Obviously you're from Utah, right? And tell us about your upbringing. And, obviously Tice was the first one to get in door-to-door. And a question I do have is did you sell when you were in high school? Did you get installs while you were in high school?
Yeah. I went on 3 blitzes.
Yeah. So you were making money as a senior. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the upbringing.
We can go pretty far back, but I honestly have always been an entrepreneur. Growing up, my mom actually not really forced us, but she owned a boutique, and we'd sell her jewelry door to door in a wagon in elementary school. And then we also would wake up before elementary school, middle school, go to her boutique and hand make caramelled apples. So I actually sold after that. I sold caramelled apples door to door to then buy my school bus in 8th grade, to then start my thrifting company, whatever. But I already did door to door in a sense, doing caramelled apples. It wasn't the same structure, but then I was running my bus. It wasn't doing great, whatever. And he was making great money. And so I was get me out there. Went on a blitz. Yeah. very first day I set 10 appointments, and it was like,
you're hooked.
At that, like, it was at that point, it was it.
Yeah.
I'm in there.
It's funny because one thing I see common with a lot of top performers is there's like this natural entrepreneurial bug, and some people have and other people don't. And I look back at my life and I realized, I just barely thought of the story I've thought of forever, is when I was in high school, a sophomore, I worked at Fans, like the sporting goods store with like jerseys and Utah Jazz hats and all the sporting stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going through a transition where the old basketball jerseys were owned by Reebok. So they were all owned by Reebok. And then there was like a licensing deal change, and then Nike bought the rights to it. And so they let the store employees be able to buy any jersey they want that was the old Reebok. We could buy them for $10 because they're just trying to clear the shelves so they could bring the new Nike ones on. So the jersey was almost exactly the same. So it was like Allen Iverson jerseys, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett jerseys, whatever.
Yeah.
I could buy them for $10. And so I remember like, oh my gosh, this is a huge like arbitrage moment because jerseys were cool. So I made a list of all the jerseys I could buy for $10. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, Shaq. I'd buy them all for 10, and then I'd go to my high school and I'd sell them for $30. Dude, I'm like, hey, I can get a jersey half off 30 instead of 80.
Yeah.
And so I would sell the jerseys to like other students in high school for $30. And I got to a point where I was making more money doing that than I was just from my pay than working there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, I'm making more money on the side selling the product. But yeah, there's like this kind of like this natural entrepreneurial opportunist mentality that a lot of top performers have. Where do you think that came from for you?
My parents, for sure. They ran a business. I helped like make those caramel apples, but they never had a job. My dad actually worked for Vivint.
Your dad worked for Vivint?
Yeah. And
what did he do?
He just sold. He was a rep. He sold door to door. When they launched Vivint Solar, he did that. And it's funny because there's zero correlation from us doing it to him doing it. We didn't see him and we're like, yeah, we want to go do it too.
Sure.
Like Tice just got connected with a buddy and just ended up doing it. And then we're like, oh, our dad did that too. But they've always been entrepreneurs. And so it's like, I've never thought of going to school or getting a real job. It's just never been an option.
Yeah.
So definitely from my parents.
So it's just been in your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you're a senior in high school, you go out and you're setting 10 appointments, right? You're probably just, when you're making that kind of money as a senior in high school, you're like balling out, right? You're balling out. You set 10 appointments. Talk to us about that first day. Where were you knocking? Like, what was the energy like? Like, I mean, setting 10 in a day, your first day, that's like unheard of.
Yeah.
Right. What happened that day?
So it was out in Pensacola, Florida. And
those are your people.
Yeah. Oh, I love Pensacola. But we go out to knock. I'm shadowing for 2 days. What's funny is the person that I shadowed the day before also set 10 appointments. And everybody's freaking out. They're like, because Ken was pretty young. And they're like, I think it was the second time in like the company's history that it happened, or like the third time.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, dude, this is sick. And so I just copied his pitch the next day with the most like enthusiasm and just like best energy ever. And I ended up setting 10. And it was like, I don't know. I talk about it all the time when I'm training new reps because I'm like, I had no clue what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, some people didn't even know it was solar, but like the energy and the relationship there just carried the appointment. And like, I think 3 sat and closed out of the 10. So
still for first day, getting 3 to sit and close, it's crazy numbers.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer on that. I train this so much in Alchemy that sales is a transfer of energy, period, right? And the number one indicator of your success is going to be, your enthusiasm, your excitement, right? So you're coming off an awesome year, right? 89 deals, right? Talk to us about the jump you made this year and what were kind of some of the difference you saw in your own personal performance to get you kind of over that next level.
Honestly, like I just learned to enjoy just working and knocking. People are always talking about like becoming a self-gen or a closer. I'm like, keep me on the doors. Yeah. I just learned to just obsess and gamify and love the doors to the point where I don't want to get off. Like I'd way rather knock doors than sit in appointments or,
Yeah, and that's a really rare mindset because most people don't like the doors. The question is, how can I get off the doors? How can I make this easier? Like, how can I become a closer? How can I just get appointments? Most people are trying to get off the door. So you said you learned to love the doors. Like, talk to us about that mindset shift, because that's pretty rare. Most people don't love the doors.
Yeah.
Right. So how does one talk themselves into, or how do you make that mental shift to actually learn to love the doors?
I think it's pretty simple, but it's not easy, because I used to hate the doors, the anxiety, the heat, all of it. But I was so focused, and as top performers usually are, on the outputs and it just makes the doors so stressful, because you're expecting something out of people that aren't in your control, and you're just setting yourself up for failure. So after time and time again, like banging my head against the wall, beating myself up, being anxious on the doors, because I'm like, what if I bagel today? Somebody's going to pass me up on the leaderboard. And part of this was a spiritual thing where I just learned to like take a step back and put it all in God's control. And sometimes it's not the best thing, but I just go completely away from the pitch and just be myself and just learn to have fun, learn to make people smile, like look to serve people. And it just makes it like so much more fun. Like even the neighborhoods where people are just like cussing you out, just smiling at them and saying like, have a good day. Like I'll literally skip to the next door and like carry my energy in that sense. But
I mean, that's a really powerful point, because a common misconception people have when we say sales is a transfer of energy is that you think it has to be like this big cheerleader, over the top, like, if that's not who you truly are, then that's actually out of alignment, because you're being disingenuous, right? So what I love what you said here is you got into alignment and you're like, hey, I'm just going to focus on what I can control, my inputs, right? And when you are in alignment with your values, right, you naturally feel more open and connected and confident within yourself, which is going to naturally have your energy be open, which that's the transference. Like, so when we say sales is a transfer of energy, it doesn't mean go be hoorah. It just means be in alignment with who you truly are.
Yeah.
And people can feel that authenticity. Right. And I think, I've been watching some of your videos on Instagram, but it's just like, that's one thing you do really well, is you come across incredibly authentic. Right.
Yeah.
And you come across like genuine and real. And because you come across genuine and real, it's what you're doing is you're building a connection of trust. Right. The number one objection you got to overcome on the doors is trust, by far. Right. And when you are in alignment, when you're being authentic and genuine, you're subconsciously building trust with other people. Right. So talk to us a little bit about that, because the video I'm referring to that I loved is when you sold that military guy, right? So break that sale down for us right now, that pitch down for us, right? And then tell us why you were able to close that deal.
Those military guys are my favorite because they're around my age, and so usually they have that little bit of ego. So you have to start out and like earn their respect in a sense, and not be like salesy, just be like straight to the point, super short. And then you compliment them, like bring something up, and you can just like visually see their guard coming down, and then you're homies. And I just got back from market on Saturday. I was with this rep in Hood that just was bageling all Saturday. We started at 9 a.m. It's like 6 p.m. So I'm like, I'm going to go knock with this guy. Like he needs a deal to get his flight home. So I went and knocked with him, and we're just getting like rammed after rammed, like no soliciting, get out of here. Yeah. And then this one military dude opens the door. Well, they didn't open the door. Actually, on the Ring doorbell camera, they were like, hey, we're not interested. No soliciting. Get out of here. I ignored it. I kept knocking. I knocked like 4 times. And then the military dude comes out, and we just talked about like basketball and going to the gym and everything for 10, 15 minutes. Same thing. And he ended up setting. So it's like just matching their energy at the beginning, earning their respect. And then at that point, you're just homies.
Yeah. So I love that, because what you're doing is you're building some rapport here, but at the same time, you probably love basketball, right?
Well, I know a little bit.
You know about basketball, but you also love the gym.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So like, for example, I don't know anything about cars.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I would see someone out working on a car, I wouldn't try to be homies with them and be like, oh, cool Mustang, because I don't know anything about car. That'd make me being disingenuous.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's an art to actually being authentic when you're having kind of small talk with these guys, that you actually have to talk about things that you're genuinely interested. Because if you tried to pretend, if you, like, for example, I love college football, and if you didn't know anything about college football and you tried to pretend to know about college football, I would know that.
I've tried it before. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Right. And actually what it does, it's building your connection of trust. Right. So for these guys that you love selling, right, what you're doing, you're building this connection of like, hey, I'm a real human being. I'm a homie, right? And that's going to build trust because you can share that common interest. So a big mistake that I see a lot of reps make is they're like, okay, I need to build rapport and be homies with this guy. So I'm going to try and pretend I know a lot about cars, but you don't.
Yeah.
And then you just make it worse. Like it's just like a hard close on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about, you're with this rep all day. He was bageling, right? What are common mistakes you see some of these first year guys, these reps make, because if you're literally bageling for 10 hours straight, it's a tactic problem. It's like a skill set problem, right? So what are the common mistakes you see these reps make?
It's so much easier said than done, but just like knocking in a sense of like desperation and lack of, it's something that you learn. It took me like a year and a half to learn it myself, but the homeowner comes out the door, they're on their toes. They're like, hey, how's it going? Just like coming off so strong, and it just totally turns like every single homeowner off. Like it doesn't matter what you say or what you're selling at that point. It's just like sales wall. So just like learning to take a deep breath and like slow down is just the one thing that a lot of people that start out in door to door just totally miss. And I think like it's undertrained.
Yeah, and I think that's important to talk about because it's crazy how much selling is similar to dating, right? My favorite phrase in this is needy is creepy.
Yeah.
Right. So if you see a really cute girl and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go get her number, and you get in, you come across as really, really needy, right? What's their initial response? Push you back, right? And so what happens is this job is you get into a sales slump, you're not selling well, and then like the thirst for deals is real. And so you get really, really needy. And even though you might be saying the right words, your energy is coming across as desperate and needy. And our initial response is to push that away, right? Think about it even like this. When you go to the mall and you walk into a store and someone you might, so for example, let's use an example. You need a new belt.
Yeah.
You just need a new belt. Your belt's broken, whatever. You're going to the store because you actually need something very specific.
Yeah.
And you walk into the store and someone says, hey, can I help you find anything? What's your initial response?
I'm just looking around.
I'm just like, even though you have something you need to find, like there's something you're looking for.
Yeah.
We just have this like repulsiveness to like being sold or we just want to avoid it. And so we're the same way. So obviously our customers are exactly the same way. So I love what you're saying about like this scarcity mindset mentality. It really affects you in neediness because it pushes your customers away. So how do you train or teach people to get into an abundant, expansive state so that it increases their quality of conversations?
Yeah, and honestly, this is something that I'm learning to do, like actively. I struggle at training reps, but a lot of it for me had to do with just trusting God and like in a spiritual sense. But because your body language, your tone, your speed, all stems from your mindset. Like you can intentionally slow yourself down. You can intentionally use different words or intentionally use a facial expression. But if you're not currently, like you talk about, in the state and mindset of like abundance, then your tone and everything's just going to naturally flow to what you don't want. And like the fast, the uptones, all that stuff. So fixing the root problem, the mindset and the abundance, and helping reps realize that like at the end of the day, if they had a bad day and they bageled and they're like scared of people saying no, or they're in that scarcity, like, am I not going to set an appointment? I ask them, it's like, how many people that told you no today do you actually remember? Like, how big of an effect did it have on their life? I mean, on your life. And then last week when you sold 2, do you remember everybody that told you no? It's like, you only remember the people that you sold and like said yes. So just helping them realize that it's really not that deep, even if they say the wrong words, if they, use the wrong script or whatever. It just comes down to, being in that state of just abundance and knowing that even worst case scenario, if I bagel this week, I'm still alive. I still have a place to stay. I have a job. I have people around me that love me and that support me. So it's not the end of the world, and I can sit back and I can talk slow and I can do whatever I want, because worst case scenario, like, really isn't that bad.
Yeah, there's 2 things I want to hit on that. And the first one is just real briefly, this is such an incredible sales skill. Is when I was out the company sales training for Vivint and guys were struggling, the first piece of advice I would give people is just talk slower. That's it. Like, don't change your pitch, whatever. If you just talk slower, right, you're going to build more trust and more confidence, because if you're like in a needy, desperate, scarce mindset and you're like, I have to get a deal, we naturally tend to speed up. And then if you're in a neighborhood where it's a lot of no soliciting, quick door slams on your face, you feel like, okay, well, I have to get my pitch out quicker. And so you speed up. And if someone comes at you like with this really high, intense, fast pitch, the customer's not even listening. They're just going to slam the door. So you're going to get more doors slammed in your face. So anyone listening, if you're in a sales slump, right, you're not getting your pitch off, don't change what you say. Just say it a lot slower.
Yes.
And you'll be shocked. And you almost want to make it awkward, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that I would do too, this is another sales step. These are just kind of flowing to me right now. But I remember when I was going through a streak, it'd been like 3 or 4 hours and I haven't sold one, and I'm just like starting to feel frustrated, I would ring the doorbell. They would answer and I would just go, how's it going? And I would wait for them to respond, to the point where they're like, good, you? And I would just wait and be like, I'm good too. To the point where it's like, what is going on? Literally, I want my customers to be like, what is this guy doing? Why is he so slow? Because it's going to like pull them in. It's like breaking the pattern. They're so used to guys coming at them really, really quick. And so this is just like really basic sales skills for you guys listening is, if you're in a slump, make it be so slow till where it's awkward. And I promise you'll be able to get your whole pitch off.
Oh, dude, that is so, it's even this last blitz that I was on, it had so much impact just talking slow for like the newer reps.
Yeah.
It's such an undervalued sales skill. Like we teach the pitch too much. We teach, what you're saying, but talking slow is,
Yeah, it makes a big deal. So you've mentioned twice now, like that, how your relationship with God has made a really big impact on the shift for you. Can you share more about that?
Yeah. Where it all started, I actually submitted papers for a mission, and I got a call to go on a mission.
Where'd you get called to?
Mexicali, Mexico.
Okay.
But I didn't end up going. So I had this it was last summer, the summer where I had 89 deals. And as a lot of high performers know, when you're doing big numbers, it's like you're in the slumps. Like you're kind of have to sacrifice a lot of other things to be able to like achieve the level that you want to.
There's absolute sacrifice coming.
Yes.
I mean, you have to sacrifice like all of your hobbies and things you enjoy.
Family, like I didn't talk to my family at all.
Yeah.
And so I got to a point where I was just like breaking point. There's one night I was sitting on my bed and I'm like all I think about is sales. And, I go to these vices because I don't have any like
What
hobbies.
are your vices of choice?
Just like eating food. I freaking love food.
Yeah.
Food is great. And just like talking to women.
Yeah.
Like that's just, and
Is that like a dating app thing?
kind of a dating app thing.
Yeah.
I learned in that moment, because I was looking toward, even just scrolling on your phone too.
Yeah.
That was a big one. But I learned in that moment that instead of turning towards these things like getting sales or these scrolling on social media, women, whatever it is, to like start turning to God. And I just had like come Jesus moment, whatever.
Wait, was there like a specific moment?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, it all came together when I decided to go on a mission. So I was in that moment and I like realized, okay, I need to start turning to God. And so I started to notice a little more things, since I'm thinking about it, people start talking about God more. And I'm like, this didn't happen before. And one of my buddies were in a meeting for our managers and they were talking about their mission and how they learned so much from it. And I just got this feeling, I was like, whoa, do I need to go on a mission? And I ended up deciding to go, and I had a moment where I had so much to talk about, and I was going to journal, but I'm like, no, my hand's gonna hurt. I just need to get it out. So I set my phone up and I started just like talking. I just broke down crying.
What was coming out?
It was just talking about really what's important in life.
Yeah.
Just no matter how much money I make here, no matter what I do, the number one most important thing is eternal salvation and your spirituality and like the life after death. So it was just like this grieving moment with almost my old mindset and my old self of like letting go of the importance of a sale, the importance of just like these tangible things that like it really doesn't matter that much if you take an eternal perspective and you think over eternity. And that really helped me. At that point, it was from then on, it's like trust in God. It's really not that deep, you know, stuff happens, but God will take care of you and it's supposed to happen for a reason. So that moment really helped me like disconnect from sales.
Yeah, that really reminds me of the Bible verse, you must die to be reborn, right? And what that means to me is, in my spiritual studies, you must die of the personal mind, the Kaysen mind that wants things and women and validation, right, and money, to be born into the spiritual, which is my life is a service to God and my fellow man, right? And so it seems like you went through like that moment of like dying, right, of the things you thought you wanted, materialism, right, validation, right, into leaning into building a what I call a co-collaboration with God. And I look back at my life, you know, when I wasn't spiritual at all, right? I grew up Mormon. Well, went on a mission. I got sent home from my mission early, but I was never like, I never felt like I had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I was just doing the Mormon checklist thing because I, you know, lived in Utah and that's what like you do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I left Mormonism where I started to build my relationship with God. And by the way, I think Mormonism's awesome. I have nothing against it. Like my mom works for the church, like Mormon's cool. But it's when I started to build a relationship with God. And for me, God is, I mean, I can't put a label on it, but it's just everything, you know, the universe, infinite intelligence, like it's all God. And it's when I built that relationship, like, okay, like I'm God, me and you are going to work together. And I'm going to allow you to work through me. That's when, you know, my life really took off and, you know, a lot of changes and shifts and kind of everything kind of fell together after that.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's a lot of people, I think, just to touch on what you said, a lot of people think of, like, especially here in Utah, the culture is, the church is like what you're in and like what you're worshiping, but it really doesn't matter like what church you're in or what you think is true. It's just having that connection with God. And really there's no like solid proof around like what church is true. It's just whatever you think to be true. And as long as that's like with a higher power and it's like you do you. So I feel like a lot of people tend to like walk on eggshells around like Mormonism, especially here in Utah, but it's like, it's just,
I mean, it's life-changing truly life-changing, when you commit to building a relationship with a higher power, whether that is God or Heavenly Father or divine or Buddha or Allah or whatever it may be, right? Like when you commit to building a relationship with God, right, your whole life was never the same.
Oh yeah.
Right, because you're thinking way bigger than you. Because before that, it's like, what can I get? Right, what can I go get in my life to make me happy?
Yeah.
And it's going to be money and women and status and power and being cool, right? Yeah. And you're just thinking so small-minded. And when you make that shift, you know, die of the personal to be born into the spiritual, right? Must die to be reborn. When you make that shift, you're like part of like this orchestration of like being of full service to things beyond yourself. And it's like your whole world feels like it gets bigger.
Yes.
And you're part of like this flow of like natural harmony and love.
I actually want to touch on that. That's amazing. I love the way you put that, because something that I think about all the time whenever I'm in a slump, it's all about the perspective. Because if you think about your like bird's eye view, if you're focused in on a day and like what happens today, like am I going to bagel today? Did I get a sale today? Did my appointment canceled today? If the view's this big and a problem's this big, it seems massive over like your entire view. But if you think eternally and you have a perspective not of just of this life, but the life after death, that problem, like compared to all of this, is puny and it doesn't matter. And it helps you disconnect from, like, it really doesn't matter that much. And it helps you let go of the outcomes and just focus on the inputs and like service and spirituality. So I love the way you put that.
Another thing, I'm just sharing this for the first time on live, but another thing I've been contemplating with recently is thinking about, you talk about afterlife. I think we are currently living in the afterlife. What do I mean by that is that I believe I was a soul before I was Doug. Before I was in this physical body, I was in a soul in relation to God.
Yeah.
Right? We were like together. And then I left that life for this life and then I'll then return back to that life, right? Per se. So we're currently living in the afterlife. If that's the true life of being in oneness with God is the true essence of everythingness.
Yeah.
Then this life of Doug is actually after the true life. Does that make sense? It's kind of a mind warp.
Yeah.
Right. But we're actually living not in our highest capacity because we're confined by this human body and our limited brain. And then if that passes, I think there'll be this moment of remembrance of our true nature.
Yeah.
And that's the highest, truest self. So this is actually a momentary blip after the original true self. That's just something I thought of the other day. And,
Dude, I actually love that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. But when you can think it like that capacity, and by the way, I'm not saying this is true, and I have no freaking clue what happens when we die, right? I have no idea. I have no idea. Right. But when there's just a shift that happens, because when you bring in God into your life, and whether you're Mormon or Catholic or Jewish or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. When you bring God into your life, you're just living for something bigger than you. And Tony Robbins says it all the time. If you are feeling depressed, it's because you're focused on yourself, right? I'm not getting what I want, right? When you start focusing on other people and thinking bigger and how, in your situation, how can I help these reps sell more? How can I provide value to my customers? How can I provide value to my team? How can I be a great son for my mom? How can I be a great brother to Tice? How can I be of service to my fellow friends, whatever? You're not focused on you, and you're naturally in service. When you're serving and living from that place, naturally you're filled with joy and enthusiasm and excitement and love. And then if you go out and knock doors from a state of enthusiasm, joy, and love, what's naturally going to happen?
Sales, and you have a great time.
You're going to sell more and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So how do you stay on track with that? Because it's, that's one thing to say this here on a podcast. It's another thing when you're out by yourself in the middle of Florida and it's 110 degrees and it's 2 p.m. and someone just said they're going to call the police on you, right? Right? How do you shift back into that state when you do fall out of it?
So I'm actually doing a training on this tomorrow. I am huge. My brain thinks in systems and processes. So it's like, hey, if I have a problem come up, I'm going to think of a solution. And then the next step is to think of how you systematize it. It's like if you forget a meeting or miss a meeting or you're late to something, it's like, why was I late? Why did I forget? Just wasn't on top of mine. The system or process, set a reminder in your phone. Boom, doesn't happen again. You're a little bit more efficient. So when it comes to being out in area and having those issues, Tony Robbins again talks about state. And so it's my first thought is, where's my state at, right? I'll first go to movement. I'll do some push-ups. I'll bang my chest. I'll hit my move like yes. I'll
Make
do
your
that.
move.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll smile. I'll listen to some good music, and that's like my first go-to to like, what am I focusing on? I'll remind myself. I have another system that I use is this personal declaration that just is like, hey, my name's Kaysen Stevens. I'm on this earth to serve God for a greater purpose. And that'll just remind me of like, oh, okay.
So I want to pause on that. I want you to break that down because that's really good, right? So what do you call it?
My personal declaration.
Personal declaration. Great. How does someone listening to this create their own personal declaration?
My dad gave me a template, so it was really easy for me. He's great. He's a life coach. But just think about, I feel like where mine came from was where you want to focus, why you're here. And in those times, like, what can you remember to bring you out of that? Like, you really have to sit down and get super, super deep into that spiritual level and like eternal perspective of like, what am I doing here on this earth? What is going to fulfill me? And like, what does that look like day to day? And then you write that down and you just like word barf.
Yeah.
Like
say yours again really slow.
Like my entire, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean,
or give us the highlights.
Brief overview is like, my name is Kaysen Stevens. I was put on this earth to be a light and source for God and for him to use me. And I was put here to be a father, a husband, a leader, a businessman, just like going over all my roles in my life. And then it talks about my like goals and overall life goals, like as they have happened and being grateful for them. Like I'm grateful that I've been able to help millions of people in like third world countries, like get housing and I've been able to serve my family by being able to financially provide. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to travel the whole world. And it goes over those things and just reminding myself of my identity, like deep down, my core self, my previous being person, like whoever that is, just remind yourself, a little slap in the face, like, yo, lock in, this is why you're here, this is what you're doing. Because a lot of people think that like the mistakes that they're making and the thoughts that they're thinking are themselves, and then they identify that with themselves and they say, I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined. But in reality, they're just distracted.
Totally.
They're not focused on the right things. So it's like that's where that system came in.
So this is just your why.
Yeah, pretty
it's
much.
Your why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason it works so well is because it's just deep and spiritual. Like so many people lie to themselves. They're like, I want a nice car too, but they're like, the Lambo, the Porsche, whatever. I do want those things because I think they're sick, but that's not gonna like lock you back.
And I always challenge when people say that, I'm like, you actually don't want the Lambo. You say you want the, you don't want it.
You want what the Lambo's gonna do for you.
You want the experience you think the Lambo will bring, right? You don't want the red Lambo. You want the experience of driving a Lamborghini down the Pacific Coast Highway with the love of your life during sunset.
Yes.
Right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't want the thing. We want the experience we think that thing will bring. And a lot of times what you're doing is by saying this personal, what do you call it? Personal
declaration.
Personal declaration is you're invoking an emotional experience internally that you can create for yourself without having to go get the thing, right? It's this whole concept, and I share it all the time, but it's the concept of making the shift from do, have, be. So what's do, have, be? It's if I do the work, if I do the hustle, if I do the grind, if I do the Instagram posting, if I do the push-ups, then I'll have a six-pack and $1 million and 1 million followers. And when I have the six-pack and 1 million followers, then I get to finally be happy and okay and in love and where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I always ask people, like, how's that going for you? And they're like, it's not working.
I've been there before.
Yeah. So what you're doing here is you're doing the shift here. And I love this because you're shifting, you're putting the be, you just put it to the front. Be enthusiastic, be connected to God, be full of love, be full of enthusiasm, be joyous, be clear, be confident, right? Be certain. Then go knock the doors and then do the push-ups and then build your Instagram following. And if you do the doing from a state of being, you end up having it all. And it doesn't even matter.
It makes it so easy. Like I actually posted a story this morning. I do these Murph Mondays. Every Monday I go to Park and Orem.
I saw that. You're posting about Murph Monday yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went this morning and only one person showed up.
So what's Murph, for those who don't know, what's Murph Monday?
So Murph Monday is every single Monday I do a Murph when I'm in Utah.
What is Murph?
A Murph is you run a mile, you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then you run another mile.
So it's a CrossFit workout.
Yes.
Yeah.
CrossFit workout. I do it every single Monday, but when I'm in Utah or anywhere else, I'll post and I'll be like, hey, I'm doing a Murph here, and I try and get as many people as possible. And this Monday I did it, and one person showed up. So many people told me they were coming. I was like, this is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And a part of me wanted to be like, dang, that was kind of embarrassing. Like, I just posted this. Like, does anybody even want to come to these? But my mind naturally goes to the place of like abundance, to where I'm so confident in myself that has already happened and it will happen, that it has no effect on me. All I'm thinking is like, one person came, I can't wait till a year from now there's 100 people doing this. Yeah. It's like that failure is like a motivation, because it's going to be such a sick story to tell. It's like, I did this for 2 years and nobody came. And then the third year, now there's like 100 people doing it. And I finally blew up on Instagram and I'm finally the #1 rep in the company. But I just talk about it so much, and I have a vision board too, and I see it, I feel it. So it's like it already happened. There's zero sense of I need or...
Yeah, because you're feeling it now.
Yeah.
You're feeling it in the now.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I experience that all the time.
Yeah, so going back to the doors, 2:00, someone just called the cops on you, 100 degrees, right? First thing you said is you change your physiological state. Yeah. You pound your chest, make your move. Yeah. Do your push-ups, right? Then you read your personal declaration, right? Is there anything else after that?
I mean, I like to, because the next thing is focus, right? Yeah. Where you're focusing. And so I'll think of what I'm focusing on that day and intentionally just be like, okay, like, let's look to serve somebody. Let's look to make somebody laugh. Just things like that, and focusing on like the positive. Yeah. And I'll just like bring myself down to earth in the sense, like I read it and then I'll be like, dude, I have the best job, surrounded by the best people. This is just one day. and I'll shift my focus.
How does one shift their focus? Because a lot of times it's really easy to focus on things that we don't have, what's not going well, what's out of my control, right? That's where majority of people spend their time and focus, is what's missing, what's not going well. I don't have this, right? How does one shift their focus?
It's hard to do in the moment because some people are at the point where they're so focused on the negative, it's just a habit. And there's no change, there's no one solution that it's like, oh, change your focus. Now you're focused on the good. I think that focus comes from intentionally refocusing every single day to where when you start drifting off, your default is the focus. So obviously there's things like reading the personal declaration, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath, and asking yourself, what have you been focusing on and what can you focus on? But it's so much easier to do if you're doing that every day already.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that are just so negative, and telling them to do that and them even doing it, they're like, it didn't work. It's not doing anything. It's because that's all you've been focusing on for the past 20 years. So
yeah, for me, it's two things. In any moment, in any circumstance, regardless of how life unfolds, if there's a cancel or if it's 100 degrees or someone's called the cops on you, in any moment, and this is such a great tool, so write this down if you're listening, you can always find things that you have. What am I grateful for that I have? And what are 5 things in my life that are actually going right? Right. And any moment in time, anywhere in your life, you can always find 5 things that you're grateful for that you have, and 5 things in your life that are going well. And for the rest of your life, what you don't have and what's not going well will always be available. Any moment in time, you can find things that you don't have and that isn't going well. But if you can change your focus, what do I actually have right now? And what is going well? Even if sales aren't going well, right? Even if my cancellations are high, even if it is 110 degrees, what actually is going well? Oh, the relationship with my mom is awesome right now, right? Oh, I crushed my Murph Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I finished this book that I wanted to read. Oh, my last Instagram post crushed it and it helped 5 people, You can always find, right? This last part of focus is so important. You can always find things that are working well, right? And where focus goes, energy flows. Right? It's a Tony quote, but most guys like to focus on what's not working. It's too hot. I'm not going to get salesman, right? And if you spend your focus there, right, that's where your energy is going to go, which is going to be the death spiral, right? So I love this. So let's break this down really simple. It's physical body, right? Make your move, push-ups, right? It's personal declaration, right? Change your focus, right? That's a 3-step tool that anyone can use at any time, whether you're at home, whether you went on a first date and it didn't go very well, or even if you're out on the doors and it didn't go very well, right? That's gold.
Yeah. It's honestly, personal declaration in itself, just being able to realign it I just feel like, I tell people this all the time, I feel like I'm cheating at life because I don't have bad days. There's just good days that are just good, and then there's great days.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I feel like that's the number one thing, is just being aligned all the time and being able to have that process in my life that brings me back onto course and doesn't let the airplane veer off and land in Antarctica where I have no money, I'm super negative, and I'm just an outcome of my environment. It's consistently realigning, oh, you're going off track.
Yeah.
And people see that my plan has landed where I want to be, and they're like, how do you do it? It's because that's just what I'm talking about every day.
Yeah. I mean, there's days where you win, and then you have days where you learn.
Yep.
Right. You think about it that way, because you're going to life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is supposed to be hard. Right. You're not going to win at everything. And by the way, going deeper here, life wouldn't be enjoyable if you got what you wanted all the time. Oh yeah. It just wouldn't be fun. So imagine, for example, that every time you shot a basketball, it swished. And I just gave you that gift right now. Initially, you're going to be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. You take a ball, half court, swish, behind your back, swish, 3-pointer, swish, right? You go play pickup at Lifetime Fitness, and you're going to have a couple of games where you're like, it's going to be so fun and so unreal, right? How long will it take until it's not enjoyable anymore?
Not very long.
Not very long, right? You might play in the NBA, but eventually what would happen is people would catch on, and then you wouldn't be allowed to play. People wouldn't want you on their team.
Yeah.
Because the purpose of the game is to get better. Right? So if you got what you want exactly when you wanted it every single time, it would not be fun.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you ever play Mario on Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Where you had to run across and you had to jump on the flag, right? And it goes down. What if every level there were no obstacles and you just ran and you just dumped on the flag?
It's so boring.
You would throw the game away.
Yeah.
Like, this is the dumbest game ever,
Yeah.
right? The reason life is so beautiful is because it's so freaking hard. And you try at something and you fail, and you try and fail, and you try and fail, and you get better and you get better and you get better. And now it's like, when you do achieve something you've been trying so hard, the fulfillment and the joy is just astronomical. I think fulfillment comes from progress, right? When you're progressing at something and getting better, you get fulfilled, and all progress is uncomfortable. So truly progress or fulfillment comes from hard work and challenge, right? And doing something difficult is when you actually feel the most fulfilled. I mean, you think about it, you played sports in high school, right?
Yeah.
What'd you play?
Football.
Yeah. Right. Like, the most fulfilled you have in football is like when you play a really good team who you might not beat and you beat them.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure you had games where you guys won by 100.
Yeah.
Right. Were those games fun?
Not really.
Yeah. You're like, whatever.
That's all right. Yeah.
It's like the game you go to is like the two freaking competitors, and you got freaking Lone Peak versus Corner Canyon. And it's like, you know, when you're playing a difficult opponent,
Yeah.
you know, and that's where the fulfillment and the joy comes from. And that's why I think this job is so amazing, is because you never beat the job.
Never.
Yeah.
Right when you think you do, you actually
Yeah.
get put in your place again. And
Yeah.
back at the bottom. I freaking love that. Like, I was going to say something, but I can't remember, but I totally agree.
Yeah. Talk to us. What was your jump from year 1 to year 2?
First year to second year?
Yeah.
I feel like it was just time.
Yeah.
Like,
What was the numbers though?
oh, the numbers? Oh,
Yeah.
33 deals my first year to 98 my second year.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy. And I mean, that's double your production, right?
yeah.
Yeah. What does it take that jump? Like, cause there's a lot of guys I work with in Alchemy that kind of, the reason they come and work with me is because they've done a lot of the sales stuff and it's not working, and they got to go do the interpersonal. So for you, what was required for you to take that jump?
Like we were talking about before, there's a lot of just inevitable sacrifice. Like, you just have to decide if that's actually what you want first, because like taking a step back and saying, hey, I want the 98 deals. No, you just want what the 98 deals is going to give you, but are you willing to sacrifice the things that that's going to take? So just like doing a reality check and like asking, is that actually what I want? And then after that, it's like, okay, then you have to become just obsessed. And this is so cliche and everybody talks about this, but just obsessed. And it's dangerous sometimes because it becomes your identity, but I just lived, breathed solar. I didn't talk to my family. I gamified it to the point where it was like beating a level, upgrading my character. My mind thinks very systematically and linearly. So I'm like thinking level 1, level 2, level 3, like focus on social proof this week, focus on closing this week, focus on intro this week. And every week is just like little by little, and looking for like those small wins to keep yourself going throughout that. Honestly, like I said earlier, I think it was just time. I think it was the person that I became and my parents raised that just allowed me to do that, and just learning sales and becoming acclimated with sales. But I'm just thinking out loud here because I really don't have like an answer. It was just that, and
Sounds like the commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just truly committed to the job.
yeah.
Yeah. So with that, you know, kind of being the foundation, what does 2026 look like for Kaysen?
2026, what do you mean? Like in what sense?
Yeah,
Like numbers wise?
What are you excited about?
I'm freaking excited. Me and my brother are actually building a sauna bus.
So cool.
We're turning a school bus into a sauna, and we're going to, oh my gosh. I'm excited to turn, like, door to door has been my life. So 2026 is going to look like turning door to door and our organization into the life that I want to live.
Lifestyle design.
Yes. Like, recruiting events aren't like, hey, come to the office and we'll have pizza. It's, we're going to bring the sauna bus to Tampa, Florida, and we're going to host a run club and have a good time while doing it. And, you know, team activities are going to be like sporting events, and just like the whole person, just designing that organization and giving people the opportunity, like anybody with any background, to just come plug in, whether they're there for 2 weeks or a year or they're with us till the end. It's like we, no matter how long they're there, just want to make their life just better.
Yeah.
Not just in sales, because naturally if you come better at everything, you have fun, the sales will improve, right?
Yeah.
So that's what 2026 looks like. It's building like the systems when it comes to sales, and all those like management stuff to automate to then focus on what's important and what actually matters. And so I want to grow like massive organization. Obviously, I want to sign over 100 reps.
And what type of rep would be in your organization? What are the characteristic traits of someone you would want in your organization?
There's two things: somebody with the willingness to work and a positive attitude.
Yeah,
those are the only two things I ask. If you don't have either of those two things, then like we don't want you a part of our organization. But it's not that hard to just have a willingness to work and improve every day, and a positive attitude. If you have those two things, it's like I want to be around you, no matter how experienced you are in sales. I want to be around you because I can learn something from you.
Yeah, Bodie Gardner, who was a mentor of mine for a long time, he'd always say, "I can teach you how to sell, but I can't teach you how to work." Mm-hmm. Right. So you always hire on attitude because you can teach the skill. Mm-hmm. Right. There's a lot of reps I've worked with in my career who had incredible skill but terrible work ethic. Right. And those guys always get weeded out.
Yeah.
Right. So anyone who just has a strong desire, who's hungry, like a hunger for success, are usually the guys who end up making it because they don't quit when it gets hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it builds like this team synergy where you just build off of each other. Where if there's people that aren't like that snowball that rolls down the hill, we're hitting rocks and the snowball's falling apart because these other people are like disrupting that. But when there's a group of people that are just have a good attitude and have the willingness to improve, that snowball just rolls and everyone builds off of everybody. And like those having a negative attitude and the unwillingness to improve is
poison.
The exact opposite. It will destroy that snowball so quick and you have to restart. So
yeah. So as we wrap up here, brother, I would love for you just to, share a little bit of the reasoning behind you like natural desire to share sales skills on Instagram, because it's really good, right?
Thanks.
So what caused you to be like, all right, I'm going to take this serious? Because the recruiting game has completely changed since I was in the game. Like now you kind of have to have a social media presence.
Yeah.
Right. Before it was like, that wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to have like a personal brand, right? And what you're doing really well. So what was the decision when you're like, all right, I'm going to go all in on this and like take your content serious?
Honestly, ever since I was a kid, I've been posting. Like you can go back and watch YouTube videos of me in like 8th, 7th grade. But I just learned the leverage that you like. It's as shallow as it is, like the amount of followers that you have on Instagram, people treat me differently now. Yeah. And it's opened up so many opportunities. And I just learned that like a social media presence gives you leverage in life. So I've been posting for years and years and years. I think it's just this past 6 to 8 months is that like overnight success that you see, but I've actually been posting for like a long time. So I've been taking it seriously for quite a while, but I've always just like known that like, what's it called? Someone knowing you, like there's a word for it, is like is a currency, is like there's value in that. Like the more that you know, the more people you know and the more people know you, the more doors that open. And yeah, it just gives you like leverage in every avenue of life.
Yeah, and because there's a lot of guys I work with that want to build a social media presence. Do you plan out what you're going to post?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like talk to us about your strategy.
I've learned a lot. The 3 things that I focus on are the first 3 seconds of the video, the hook. Yep. The value that I'm actually going to bring to the viewer, because if there's no value, they're not going to follow you. And just being myself, right? Like I freaking love making the videos of just like making fun of door-to-door reps or just goofing around. Like some of it isn't even like the value that I bring is just entertainment because I'm just being myself. But just making sure that I'm authentic. I don't like using a script in a video. Some people script out their entire videos. I just take an idea, make sure there's a good hook and it'll hook them and they'll watch the entire video. And then I'll just be myself. Some videos flop, some videos don't, but
so hook, value, authenticity.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So for those that want to follow along at home, where can people find you on Instagram?
Kaysen.Stevens on Instagram and same thing on YouTube.
Yeah. Give them a follow. Content's great.
Thank you.
And there's some funny, valuable stuff too, entertainment, but there also is like a lot of sauce.
Thank you.
Like you're killing it, man.
Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah. Well, Kaysen, bro, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm glad. It was a great conversation.
Glad to have you in the Alchemy fam.
Yes.
Right. Big years in 2026, and got a lot of love for you, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother.
Let's go.